What's the most important commandment? What's the most important thing that we can do in this life according to God? And Jesus said, love God, love your neighbors. That means next to loving God, Jesus says loving your neighbors and being a great neighbor in the very locations where He has us is the most important thing we can do. We can do with our time and our energy and our space. And so this month, we're encouraging you to identify and designate your house as a lighthouse, as a source of brightness and joy in your neighborhood. And we're going to give you some practical tips for doing that in this video. First of all, there's kind of two general chapters of things that we want to share today. The first chapter is how to set the stage for your home being a lighthouse, whether you live in an apartment, a condo, a townhome, or a single family home, a duplex, whatever. Here's how you set the stage for being a lighthouse. Number one, come to church on Sunday and pin a tack on your address. We have a map of the whole Bismarck, Mandan, Lincoln area, and we would love for you just to kind of pin a tack right where you live to kind of just see how all of our lighthouses are spread out throughout the area and how much influence we're going to be able to have. So pin a tack, and then also grab a surprise church yard sign on your way out. It looks gorgeous amidst the backdrop of snow. It looks kind of Christmassy. It's amazing. Go ahead and put that sign in your yard, because that's going to open up doors for conversation down the road after you do some of the other things for Lighthouse without you having to sometimes say anything. It just creates some opportunities for connection and conversation with neighbors. So pin a tack, post a sign. 3 is start praying. Just deliberately start praying. This morning I was shoveling snow, which I enjoy shoveling the first snow of the year. It's the 2nd through the 100th that I have a problem with. But while I was shoveling snow, I started praying for my neighbors. Praying for their backs as they're shoveling, praying for their kids as they're going to school, praying for their health, praying for their faith. Start praying, if you haven't already begun to do so, for your neighbors, for their kids, for their lives, for their faith, for their welfare, and pray that God will show you opportunities to be a blessing to them in simple ways and great ways, and help you build relationships and connections with your neighborhood. Lastly, the fourth way you can set the stage is by going on walks, specifically going on prayer walks in your neighborhood. So kind of set a designated area all the way up and down your street, maybe for a 2 or 3 block radius around your house. Take a daily or a weekly routine and go on a prayer walk and just try to learn the names of people if you can. You can look them up like a creeper online, or you can actually go and just meet your neighbors in person, either way. And just go ahead and walk up and down your street and just pray for your neighbors. Pray for them by name. Pray for the home. Take your kids with you. If you have kids, bundle them up and just take them with you. It's a great opportunity to just think prayerfully about your neighborhood. So that's how you set the stage. Now that you've set the stage to being a lighthouse in your community, the next step is to shine a light, to be a blessing to your neighborhood and to the people who are living around you. And there's a few practical ways that you can do that. Number one, informally look to connect. Look to connect with people just by being out and about, by being friendly, getting to know folks' first name. If you see people struggling to carry groceries in, ask to give them a hand. You know, snow season, it can be a great time to offer to give a hand with snow or leaf removal, or any simple way that you can just not be in the backyard by yourself or in the basement watching movies, but look for opportunities to be about and meet people and just make those connections, get to know people by name. Secondly, maybe plan a formal kind of gathering. It can be at your house, can be at a local watering hole or a park, or in your backyard, front yard, whatever the case may be, where you just invite folks. It could just be the new people in the neighborhood or anybody within a certain radius or your next door neighbors or whatever. Just plan a social gathering, especially if you don't know each other yet. It can be a great way just to, even if they don't come, to be known as a person who tried and who cares and who's friendly, and maybe that'll lead to something down the road. So try to plan something formal if you can. And as you do make those connections, and as you do, have gatherings in which you start getting to know people, I would encourage you to thirdly, listen very carefully to their stories. People don't really have many opportunities to be listened to. And if you demonstrate that you care, just significantly care about them as human beings, ask questions, get to know their stories, just really try to identify with the journey that they have led through life. That's going to, again, open more doors to just build better relationships with people in your neighborhood. So really listen carefully to their stories and the issues or felt needs that they care enough and trust you enough to share with you. And so listen to their stories, listen to their felt needs. And when you hear a need or they identify a way that you could be a blessing to them, don't hesitate to offer in an appropriate way to be of service or help. So look for opportunities to offer to help, whether that's with a felt need that they identify or something that you recognize maybe listening to them. Would you like help with that? Would you like to drop your kids off while you run that errand or go to that appointment? You know, I have some friends, we'd be happy to help you move in or move out, or with your snow issue or your Christmas lights or whatever it might be. So offer to help as you get to know people and listen to their needs. And then finally, this is at the end for a very good reason, as you build relationships and be a blessing to others, you're eventually going to have an opportunity to pray for people. As they share a need, you can tell them, I'll be praying for you. Let me know what God does. And that also could lead to sharing your faith, where you just simply are asked yourself to share a little bit about who you are and what you believe and what that big red sign in your yard means about your church. And so as you do all these other things and develop relationships and make connections, it's just going to naturally open door for you to get to know people, you to hear prayer requests, you to be able to offer to help with people's lives, and ultimately for you to share your faith story. And that is going to be a huge blessing to your neighborhood in ways that you don't maybe even see right now. So set the stage, shine the light, and thanks for being willing to be a lighthouse.